We didn't really touch on, and I know this might be a little bit older news for people, but we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about this Diana Rossini scandal. I saw some memes out there. What was the CEO and the lady that was
The Coldplay and the Coldplay,
at the Coldplay concert? Yeah.
the concert. Yeah.
So yeah. So look, the photos that the I say private investigator took of Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, those were legit. I mean, those that was somebody, a team maybe, who was sort of like, hey, we got to expose this. We got to expose this. Somebody wanted to have that exposed. I don't know if it was a team or it was a spouse or who it was, but somebody wanted this to come out. And at this particular point in time, because those photos were professional photos and those photos were taken not at close range. That's a professional camera that somebody
Yeah.
from that got a professional lens zoomed in and took those photos, and that was legitimate. But this raises a couple things for me. This raises a couple things. One, her credibility is shot, and as far as her doing things like this, she's been doing this in the past. From what I've heard, she's been kind of dabbling around with some coaches and stuff in the past, and so this is nothing new. So this is what I believe happened. All of this coming up, bubbling up. The athletic called in the office. Diana, come on in, man. Come in. We got to talk about this. This is getting out of hand, and we're firing you, but we're gonna give you the option to write the letter and say you stepping down to make to help save face. Somebody might hire you someplace else, but you done here. You done. So I think that's how it went down. However, here's a concern that I have because her and Vrabel were in this relationship allegedly. Let me just say allegedly,
Please.
but
Yeah.
the photos speak for itself. Allegedly in this relationship, um, that leads me to believe, and an Eagles WIP sports reporter dropped this, and I started thinking about this, and I was like, huh, I don't want this to be true, but because they have their little pillow talk, and Vrabel was talking to AJ all throughout the season, he even admitted, me and AJ talk, we text, we laugh and da 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 throughout the season. Could it be true that AJ Brown is telling Vrabel, man, this locker room sucks. Jalen can't give me the ball. The offense sucks, et cetera, et cetera. And then Vrabel pillow talking with Rossini, and Rossini reported. So that could be the angle. All of this could be true. It could be true, because if Rossini saying this, she getting it straight from Vrabel, who talking to AJ, because nobody else in the locker room is, and nobody else is like, we love these dudes. I mean, I don't know who bringing this stuff up. And only this all points back to me, AJ, to Vrabel, to Rossini, and it kind of makes sense when I said I thought she was trying to sabotage him, but then after that point was raised, I was like, you know what? That could be the case. It could be all true. But anyway, I think it was just foul, man, for them, on a personal family level. You got families involved. I know they still denied it all the way down, and they could do that if they want. But the picture speaks for itself, man. There's no way your wife is going to you go on a trip, you get some pictures with you and a woman who ain't your wife,
Hmm.
interlocking fingers and in a hot tub together, close up next to each other. And no, nah, you can't tell me nothing different. You can't tell me nothing.
Yeah. I don't know who, like, so to start, it's definitely some private investigator that took those pictures, right? My understanding, this resort out in Sedona, Arizona, it's pricey. It's like 2,500 a night at this resort. No one is going to be spending their time taking pictures or even worried about what's going on from an infidelity perspective, right? Spending that kind of money staying at that resort.
Right.
Okay. So that whoever took those pictures, they was there on a mission. It was a purpose for them to be there to take those pictures and to see what was going on between those two individuals. Who would probably hire someone to do that? To me, I think it seemed to be a little bit more personal than business in terms of the intent of this. I think it's a spouse. Which one? Don't know. When you look, if you look at Diana Rossini's, like some of her past comments, right, on interviews and, broadcasts, radio shows, podcasts, there is a litany of tape, right, of her talking about her husband and her marital issues with him. And it's dismissive and downright disrespectful at times, the way that she describes their relationship, right? Their marital relationship. And in certain instances, the way that she describes him personally, right? It's not becoming of a wife to say those type of things about your husband unless he's doing something like physically or emotionally to really disparage you. But we don't know. That's another story. But there's no reports out that that's what's happening. And the way that she carries herself, almost like this alpha type of woman, right, where she wears the pants and she runs the show, and he's like not worth her time. And again, this is what can be insinuated based off of her comments of him. It's just not out of the realm of possibility that someone like him would, after receiving all get all of that, those retorts right online about you, to go and hire someone to catch you doing things like this, right, and bring some shame back on. So it could be I think there's a lot of different, many enemies out there against her that would probably cause for something like this to happen. And why do I say there's many enemies? Just today, right? Or was it yesterday? USA Today just fired a reporter, right? Her name is Chrissy Freud. And let me see if I can find the statement from USA Today, right? So the statement goes something like this. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. So the statement is USA Today Sports has ended its contract relationship with Chrissy Freud effective immediately. Her recent statements do not reflect our commitment to professionalism or uphold our principles of ethical conduct. Now, Chrissy Freud, who again is a contractual reporter for them, made a statement on her Twitter account about the whole, her own personal Twitter account about the whole Diana Rossini situation, right? And what she said, this is Chrissy Freud.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were told to submit this and told, or that you would get fired instead, right? So this is her response to Diana Rossini's statement about resigning, okay?
Yeah.
So she said, I'm sure you were told to submit this or that you would get fired instead. And then it goes on, don't let the door hit you on the way out. We know who you really are and what you've been doing for years, okay?
Yeah.
It does so much detriment to women in sports who have done things the right way. That's her statement. And we was getting into this before we were getting into this before we started recording. I'm like, well, there's nothing I wouldn't say that would be like outright unprofessional about what she just said. It wasn't anything defaming. It wasn't laced with any sort of unethical words, nothing like that. She's just voicing her opinion based off of what she has seen on a personal matter. Right, with this whole Diana Rossini thing, and USA Today found it necessary to cut ties with her. I don't understand that.
Is USA Today and The Athletic, they're kind of related? I don't know. I need to look that up.
Maybe
they probably are. That's good.
Yeah,
That would be the only way. That would be the only way you fire somebody over statements like that, because that don't even make any sense. She's on her own personal Twitter account. She's expressing herself. And based on what she's saying, people been knowing about this then. So people been knowing about who she was and the kind of stuff that she was doing. So what's the big deal?
I mean, but here's the thing, Links, and this is where I would come to the defense of like Chrissy Freud, right? We all know in this business world, right? Whether it's sports, whether it's, corporate, well, sports is corporate, right? But, financial sector, even religious sector, right? All these different sectors, there's a lot of stigma based off of who you are, right? What category you fall under, right? If you're, a male of a certain ethnicity, right? You get the benefit of the doubt here or not, right?
Right.
And then when you look at particularly the sports world, women have to do a lot more to gain the respect, not just of their peers, but of the people that they're reviewing their reports. People who are reading, their writings, their editorials. They have to do so much more just to be seen as somebody serious in that world.
Right.
Because it's definitely a male dominated arena, right? From who's playing to who's viewing, right? It's
Right.
all male dominated. So
Yeah.
when you got a situation like this, unfortunately, all of the barbs are going mainly towards Diana Rossini, where it should be kind of equal with Mike Vrabel as well. Mike Vrabel should be getting a lot of heat for this as well, because he is also married. He's
Mm-hmm.
also, a person of leadership that's supposed to be carrying himself in an ethical way to lead a team, a franchise, right? As prominent as the New England Patriots that has won six, so over six Super Bowls. So it's like he's not keeping up a particular standard that is becoming of that position, right?
Mm-hmm. I
With these
agree.
speculations to put himself in this situation. So, but again, because it's male dominated, everything is more skewed towards what Diana Rossini is doing, and so someone like Chrissy Ford coming out and is like, "Look, you're making us look bad,
Yeah.
right? It's already hard for us, and now you're gonna do this. You're setting us back." I get it. I understand why she did that, why she felt the need to voice. And again, it's not like she's out there and she didn't write anything that would garner like any sort of censorship,
No.
right?
No.
So I think it was a nice personal, not nice, but it was a personal tweet that,
Mhm.
it didn't garner the response I believe that USA Today gave it, unless there's some sort of business tie that USA Today
There,
has
there has
with the Athletic.
there has to be. Yeah, there has to be some sort of tie, and I'm definitely gonna look that up. But yeah, I definitely, and I feel you on that. That was good. Mike Vrabel should be coming under some scrutiny. Ain't nothing happened to him. I mean, he might have his own personal family problems, family issues, right? But
Oh yeah, that's gonna be, yeah,
yeah, he got his family issues going on. But as far as his professional career, he going on like nothing, like
like nothing.
nothing ever happened. Like, I
Yep.
mean, so yeah, it's crazy when you think about the great female reporters, Linda Cohen, Susie Colbert. You got what's her name? What's her name? Man, African American lady,
I know you. Robin Roberts from back in the
Robin
day.
Roberts,
People forget she was
and
on ESPN.
yes,
Yeah.
she was, and then and the other African American lady who's on NFL right now.
Well, right now I know Jamel Hill. I like her. Right.
Yes, Jamel, but
She's
it was
really good, but I think she's
sideline reporter.
Lisa.
Lisa Salters is one. Yes, Lisa Salters, but it's another. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at her face, and I should be ashamed that I can't. That I man. Okay, we gotta find this. You gotta find this. Let's see.
Pam Oliver.
Pam Oliver.
Pam
Yes, yes,
Oliver.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Pam Oliver.
Yeah.
You look at all of these ladies, man, who when you look at it, it definitely is. There is a standard with guys over the female, and how much work that they put in over the years to be as professional as they are. Because think about it, they don't play football. However, the
Right.
knowledge that they have is at the same level and greater than some guys that are out here reporting. And I mean, these women are phenomenal, man. And
Yep.
so I agree with Chrissy. And yeah, it definitely something more. I think something more is tied into this, where the Athletic and USA Today, they got some.
Right. 'Cause, like, one of my favorite like football analysts right now, on the air, and it's not female, but just analyst period, is Mina Kimes. Mina
Mina,
Kimes
yep,
is
yep,
phenomenal with her breakdowns, right? When she's giving reports on what she's seeing and how the games are going and what these players are doing. Right?
yep,
But again, when you got Rossini, and again, we it speculatively, right? With
right, yeah,
the
yeah,
stuff that
yeah,
we're seeing, but she's putting herself in this position for
yeah.
people to speculate.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that, I'm sorry but not sorry, but when you have a certain position or certain, when you're in a certain business and have certain responsibilities, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that you don't put yourself in those situations for people to even have these type of speculations. So it's still bad on you, right, for doing that. Okay, it's not fair, but hey, look, that's what comes with the territory, with the position that you hold.
yeah. That's how it is. Real quick on this, and we touch on this, and it sort of goes back to another situation that happened maybe a little over a year and a half ago. I don't know if you remember this, with Joy Taylor, Jason Taylor's little sister.
Sister. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know about that whole situation, right? What allegedly, she had, she had been getting herself out there in order to move up in the ranks, right? And I don't look. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is she still on the air anywhere? Is she still on the air?
She's
Is she
doing
on it?
stuff, but she's not at the capacity that she was doing it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, I want to be very careful speaking on
I
these types
got
of
you. Yeah,
things,
I
right?
was kind
Because
of
again,
certain too. Yeah,
yeah, but again, it's I don't know too much about that situation. We heard about what happened, and then we saw the fallout because I think all of them
right.
lost that show, right? That
All
was
everybody.
with what's his name, Acho, right?
Yeah,
And
without.
those
Yeah,
guys, right?
yeah,
So that whole show is gone. That whole show is
yeah,
gone.
yeah,
And I think they
yeah,
all doing their own different thing, right?
yeah, yeah,
So again, all of them seemed like they were foul. Everyone in that whole situation was foul.
yeah,
But unfortunately, if you're a female, you're gonna get the brunt of it. You're gonna
yeah,
get the brunt of it.
yeah. That is true.
So
That is
yeah.
true. Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyway, let's just hope, man. I mean, these things are going to continue to happen, as it's happening now. You just don't know. All these things are happening around the league. Let's just hope that the best keep shining and keep doing their thing, and we keep getting the great reporters out there doing the
Hmm.
hard work and getting the rewards, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about a contract here. So I know, and I'm looking this up here. Will Anderson just signed a contract, and I'm looking for the contract right now. Let me see here. It's exactly what it was because I don't want to misquote what his. But I know he is officially the okay. So he agrees to a 3-year, $150 million extension with the Houston Texans. He now is officially the highest paid non-quarterback um, in the NFL, and you mentioned this, but we were talking offline, that is well deserved.
Yes.
He's a beast, man. He's a wrecking crew, out there, and this was his first. They said this comes off of the heels of his first team All Pro campaign in 2025. He had a career best 12 sacks this past year and forced three forced fumbles, 54 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, and 23 QB hits. And so yeah, he's doing his thing, man. Do you think, and your opinion? I mean, contract aside, definitely want to hear what you got to say about this because you know about. I think he plays DN, right? He's a DN.
Yeah, he's a edge. Yeah.
Okay, so different from Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald was a tackle. Like as far as wrecking the game, like I know he does that on a consistent basis. Where do you stack him up? Like with I know different position, right? So it's kind of hard. But where do you stack him up from the DN kind of perspective? I know Aaron Donald did his thing, but from a DN perspective, where do you think Will Anderson in today's game is kind of stacking up?
So he's somewhere between. He's like below Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett is he's right now. He's the pinnacle. He's at the top, right? When it comes to that position, defenders all around, but especially that position, is Miles Garrett. But I would put Will Anderson over Micah Parsons.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
So
yeah,
he's
yeah,
in between there, right? Mike. Well, Will Anderson, he's a every down guy. He can stop the run, or he can help, right, with the run defense as well. Absorb blocks if he needs to at times. Doesn't need to because that shouldn't be his game anyway. He needs to be freed up to attack the quarterback. He's a
right,
game wrecker. He's a game
yeah,
wrecker. He's more consistent as well. Stays relatively healthy, which is why he got the bag. But yeah, he's a notch or two, but below Miles Garrett. But I would pick him over Micah Parsons.
yeah. That's big. Boy, you might be rubbing some Michael Parsons fans the wrong
Yeah.
way on this one.
Yeah,
Boy,
bring the hate.
you
Yeah, bring it. Bring it. Yeah. I
you
mean, and
know,
I'm not trying. And, hey, look, I'm not trying to
I
be
got
demonstrative with that, right? And I
right.
just want to. I'm not saying that to be demonstrative or to try to, ruffle any feathers. That's really my opinion. I think if I had to choose between those two players to fill that spot, I would pick Will Anderson over Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I'm with you too. And the reason why I would pick him is because of his consistency and he's healthy. He's relatively healthy.
Mhm.
I hadn't, he's stayed on the field, and he's been wrecking the game. Uh, Micah Parsons, you know, has done that, but it seems like sometimes he kind of disappears. Will Anderson is always in your face, man.
See,
He's always.
and I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because look, as these players age and they get older, I'm not even talking when they hit like 30, right? But as they get to like 26, 27, 28, which I think they're around that age now,
Yep.
right? There, you're going to have to be more like bought in, dialed in to what you're doing, right? There's a nutrition aspect to this. There's a physical regimen to this that you need to continue to uphold and cater to in order to keep your body moving and toned so you can stay at your peak. When you come in and you're young, you can recover a lot quicker. But you age real fast, especially that position with all the hits that you're taking and with the grind that comes with the position itself and the sport. Now, I say all that to say Micah Parsons, from the outside looking in, it continues to look like his attention is divided, right? He wants to be this podcaster media guy and do this thing and get these people listening to him and it's hard to hear him speak, to be honest with you, right? And I shouldn't talk because people say it's probably hard to hear me speak too, right? But look, I'm not a professional football player, right? But
Right. Yeah.
but what he's doing is like the time, like it gives people ammunition to question, okay, well, if you're spending all this time trying to build this media thing that you're doing, well, how much time are you actually spending on your craft?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So now you
Yeah.
have it, he got injured. He didn't seem to be in tip-top shape, right? He had back in, situations. Like, what are you doing to make sure your body is where it needs to be? Whereas with Will Anderson, the dude looked like he's dialed in 24/7. He looks like he's in
Yeah.
peak form all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, give me that every time, right? I don't want a guy that feel like he's already looking for the next thing. I
Right.
want someone who's going to be dialed in for the next 10 years doing this thing, right? That I paid him for,
Yeah.
right? If I'm an owner, and then
Yeah.
you can worry about all that other stuff later. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
paying you to be a podcaster.
For real. For real. I agree. I agree. And to tie into this, that Houston defense is going to be legit. What you saying?
I was going to say because we brought up Aaron Donald earlier, right? Because people's retort may be, well, who are you to question him? He could do whatever he wants, during the season. Once he's there and he's fine, he has an off season. He can do that, and don't question him, right?
Right. Right.
When they spoke to Aaron Donald about why he decided to retire, they said, you look like you're still in shape. Why did you retire? He's like, he had nothing left in the tank. And somebody asked him, can you expound on that? What does that mean? Nothing left in the tank, right? Because you can still come in and play. He's like, yeah, I can still come in and play. I'm still in shape. I can still do that. But when I say nothing's left in the tank, he's like, look, when the season is over, he gives himself 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. He gives himself a 2 week break. Then after that, boom. He's like, it's like 6 8 hour days nonstop every day,
Yeah.
no time off, working
Yeah.
out, getting himself right for the next season. That's why Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. And that's why he like hardly any injuries, stays consistent, all pro every season that he's played, right? 3 defensive player of the year. He was bought in, not just to the team, but to the craft, right? He didn't cheat it. He didn't cheat it. So when I compare now these defensive players to that, if you're
Right.
not doing that, then I can't take you serious. I
Right.
can't take you
Right.
serious. Aaron Donald wasn't doing no podcasting and
Yeah.
interviews and a whole bunch of commercial. Like that dude was just locked in training.
Right. 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 Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why he got the results that he got.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That you're right. You spot on, man. That's how the greats do it. They definitely locked in and dialed in. So yeah, you can tell the difference. You can tell the
You could
difference with the
tell.
guys
Yeah.
who who truly locked in. So yeah, man. Speaking of locked in and not locked in, Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, I know you brought this up. You were saying he trying to get out of New York City. Where he trying to go? I mean, is it the case that the Giants aren't paying him, or he feel like he's worth more, and they hadn't solidified a contract with him, so he want out?
All of the above, right? I don't have the particulars on his current contract, but I think they said he's like middle in terms of pay
Yeah,
compared to other defensive tackles in the league. But his performance it far exceeds that. I think he's like a top three defensive tackle. He didn't get a whole bunch of sacks last year, but that's because they said he was the most double teamed player lineman in the league by far, right? And that opened up the avenue for Brian Burns to have his like double digit sack season,
mm-hmm.
right? Because he's Dex Lawrence taking up all those double teams, so he's pivotal for that offense for everybody else to function and do what they're supposed to be doing. So now here it is. He's like, look, I'm underpaid. I've outplayed the contract. I want to get back onto the table and discuss, what can we do to get things. He's not even asking to be the top, from my understanding, based on what, Schefter and all those guys have been reporting. He's not asking to be the top paid defensive tackle. He just
Right.
wants to be compensated, in comparison to what he's worth. So somewhere within like the top 5 is what he's looking at.
I got you. That's
And
respect.
that's how the whole report started. And now I think upwards until today, it said that he doesn't even want to discuss contracts with them no more. He wants to be out. He just wants to be
Wow,
traded. He doesn't have a preference in terms of destination. He just does not want to be in with the Giants.
man.
Yeah.
Um, the that's big because this the Giants though. This the Giants. You know, if you botched up the Saquon Barkley situation, then what's to tell they're not gonna botch this situation up? And it
Well,
may be cap. It may be something with their cap. Constraints. I don't know. Their GM. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
it's supposed to be a new day now because they got John Harbaugh. And,
That is true. That
contrary
is
to what everybody may believe, he's now really calling the shots, not Joe Shane.
okay.
Okay. So it's supposed to be like, there's a new leaf has been turned over. We're going to do things the right way. And this stuff like this is still happening.
Yeah,
Makes you wonder if Harbaugh just doesn't value him the way he feels he should be valued.
that could be the case. That could be the case.
Yeah.
But you got Zay Flowers out there saying that John Harbaugh was the reason why all of the Baltimore Ravens was always getting injured because of how he runs his practices.
Really?
So yeah, Zay Flowers was, according to Zay Flowers, he was saying that he runs his practices. He was just overdoing it. Now that could be coming from a guy who's just not wanting to do all of the, just trying to cut corners. I don't know what kind of guy Zay Flowers is. I really don't know. But he was blaming Harbaugh because he said his practices was just over the top and it was working them too much. I don't know how.
I
I,
find
I,
that, I mean, look, I don't know, right?
I'm
That may be
paraphrasing.
something there. I
Yeah.
got you. But I know the NFL has put in a lot of restrictions now on what can and cannot be done from a practice regimen perspective compared to what used to be done back in the early 90s, late 90s, right? So these practices are a lot more regulated than they used to be. And so they have way more breaks,
Mhm.
intervals, time off, right? Stuff like that compared to, the notorious two a days and stuff like that they used to be doing back in the day. So I don't know. I don't know, did Zayflower give any specific details in terms of what exactly has been
I just
transpiring during
glanced
the
on it, so
practices?
I didn't get into the details of what he was talking about, but I just glanced on it real quick to see what he was saying. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like you say, I believe nowadays the practices, like you said, are much more regulated than back in the day. I don't think half of these dudes could. I mean, they're more athletic, but as far as toughness is concerned, dudes back in the day,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know many dudes. It's a handful of dudes that I think could probably hang in that day who playing now.
Mhm.
But boy, yeah, that's a different era. That was different.
Yeah, definitely a different era. And it was to a fault too, because I mean, you had guys. You see some of the ramifications of what happened post
Absolutely.
career, based
Yeah.
on those habits, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, these guys nowadays, I would be hard pressed to believe that they could hang with some of what was going on, not just in the practices, but some of the rule changes that took effect as well. Receivers being it, you could hand check receivers from the line of scrimmage all the way down the
Mm-hmm.
field. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
You could slam the quarterback on the ground, land on top
Yeah.
of him.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
was
Yeah. It was
it was a crazy time.
different game, man. Different game altogether. So yeah, man. But that's all I have for tonight, man. I think
Yep. Well, we got 6 days until the draft, right?
that was yeah.
When we get Doc back, I want us to kind of go through some of our predictions on what that's going to look like.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think there's going to be a lot of I don't think there's going to be a lot of trades like what we've seen the last couple of years.
I'm hearing different. I'm hearing different.
That's
People are
what you're
saying,
hearing, but I don't think it's
yeah,
going to happen though.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There's going to be some. There's going to be some. I don't think because the last two drafts, I think there was about like
Yeah, it
four to
was a
five
lot.
trades in the
Yeah,
first round. No, it was a lot, like 4 to 5
yeah,
trades in the first round.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if we're gonna get to that point. We may see one or
Yeah.
two. Yeah, but I don't know if it's gonna be a lot.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, we know who's going. We know who's going number one. But I want to see. I want to see some shakeups. I want to see what's going on, man. I want to see well, how this is all going to go down.
You have a preference for your Eagles? Like you have a prospect you hope they target?
Not really. I know for not a specific target. I think we definitely need safety help for sure.
Ooh,
With
okay.
the loss of Reed Blankenship, and then we got
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Makuba coming back off an injury. And Marcus Epps is there. We re-signed him to a 1-year contract. So I think from a safety perspective, we need to shore that up a little bit more. 'Cause I'm not sure Makuba's going to be ready come time the season start. So we need somebody that's safety. And then I think if we're gonna make some moves, it's definitely gonna be on the O line. Our O line was banged up too. So I think we're going back in the trenches, and we're gonna try and get that O line kind of shored up, get some younger guys in there, and kind of get that back where at that Eagles standard. So I would say O line safety is pretty much where we need to be in that first round somewhere.
So this is a deep draft for O lines, right? You could find a good O line in the second, even third round. So you guys should be able to pick someone up there. I think the Rams need to pick up an O line in the second round. But for
Y'all
safety,
got 2 picks in the first round though,
one we
right?
traded
Oh
one
no, yeah, yeah,
for
y'all trade that one.
right for McDuffie.
Okay,
But
yeah,
look up when you get a chance before we hop back on next week.
yeah.
Look up Thinneman.
Dylan Finnerman,
Thinneman,
Finnerman.
right?
Okay, okay,
Thinneman.
yeah,
I'll text it to you. But
okay,
he's a safety out of Oregon.
yeah, oh
He
yeah,
would fit the Eagles perfectly. I hope you all don't get him, right? But he would fit y'all perfect.
okay,
I would
okay.
be mad if y'all get him. That'd be hot. I put it that way. Look him up. Look him up. Yeah. All right. All right, man. Yep. Later.